Welcome to Young Lives Lost, Gone But Not Forgotten, a series focused on young lives cut tragically short. In America, a child is shot every hour and hundreds die. These are their stories. Father accused of murdering 14-year-old because he didn't want a gay son. This is the story of 14-year-old Giovanni Melton. A Nevada man accused of shooting and killing his son because the teen was gay has been allowed to live at home under house arrest while awaiting trial. The boy's mother, who says she feels betrayed, has called on the district attorney's office to investigate. In 2017, Wendell Melton was charged with the murder of his 14-year-old son, Giovanni, in Henderson, Nevada. Wendell, aged 53, told police he killed Giovanni during an argument over the teen skipping school. He maintains that after Giovanni shoved him to the ground, he got up, pulled out his gun, and accidentally shot the teen in the chest. Despite only being 14, Giovanni had been allowed to live on his own in an apartment rented by his father. Wendell called police to the home around midnight. He was brought to the hospital but later died the same day. But Giovanni's mother, Veronica Melton, says her ex-husband murdered their son because he was gay. Sonia Jones, Giovanni's foster mother, told the Las Vegas Review-Journal that Wendell hated the fact that his son was gay. I'm sure that the inside of his mind he would rather have a dead son than a gay son, she said, claiming Giovanni had been abused physically and mentally and spiritually for many, many years.
We are uncovering new details about a father accused of murdering his 14-year-old son.
Police say the father told them it was an accident. News 3's Antonio Castellan joins us live from Henderson with the latest on this.
Jim, a Henderson police report reveals that detectives didn't believe Wendell Melton's story, that he feared for his life. Melton told police that he had a gun because he feared some of his son's friends. This one-page arrest report from Henderson police offers some insight into an argument between father and son that turned deadly. 53-year-old Wendell Melton told police he accidentally shot his 14-year-old son Giovanni in the chest. Bailey Schultz, a friend of the teen, says it's still hard to believe he's gone.
They're just in shock. A lot of people are just kind of like, it's just, you didn't expect it. It's really unexpected. So I think a lot of people are just, that knew him, are just in shock.
Wendell Melton told police when he arrived at Giovanni's apartment Thursday afternoon, he caught his son smoking marijuana and skipping school. A heated confrontation then grew with the father saying his son threw him to the floor.
Like, they got in an argument and the dad just shot him, and apparently, I'm not sure, I don't know if this is true or not, that he lived there by himself.
Henderson police say Melton confirmed his 14-year-old son did live by himself because he did not get along with his father's new wife. At one time, the teen was also in foster care, and Giovanni's former foster mom claims the boy was physically and mentally abused by his father.
That apartment that he murdered his son at, Gio lived in that apartment alone by himself. Like, his dad, Gio wasn't even allowed to go to his own father's house because his wife hates his kids.
Henderson police say they believe Melton was untruthful about where the murder weapon came from, and that the 53-year-old never feared for his life. Investigators say Melton should have never had a gun since he was once convicted on a domestic violence charge. In addition to murder, Melton is also charged with child abuse. Melton is now at the Henderson Detention Center on a $800,000 bond. Reporting live, Antonio Castellan, News 3.
Antonio, thank you for that.
Giovanni's brothers reportedly told Jones that Wendell pulled a gun on the boy once when he caught him with his boyfriend. I hope they throw the book at him. I hope he never sees the light of day, she added. I hope every day when he looks in the mirror, he sees his son's face. Wendell, who has a prior conviction for domestic battery, was charged with murder, illegal possession of a gun, and child abuse. His original bond was set at $808,000, but despite the horrific nature of the accusations, at a March 22nd hearing, the judge lowered the bail to $200,000. He also allowed Wendell to leave jail, placing him on house arrest as he awaits trial. Veronica says prosecutors told her, well, these things happen. Now, Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson is investigating Wendell Melton's pretrial release. Wolfson said to me that he is going to be investigating this case, Veronica told KTNV 13 on Monday. He was warned to see all of the transcripts from the March 22nd hearing and what actually occurred because we only have bits and pieces of the court date. After losing her son, Veronica Melton said it felt like justice wasn't being served. She's also asking why, even though Nevada hate crime statutes include sexual orientation and gender identity, hate crime enhancements were never added to Wendell's charges. At the time of the arrest, a Henderson police spokesperson told HuffPost that the investigation didn't indicate the shooting was motivated by Giovanni's sexual orientation, and authorities knew of no prior trouble between father and son. We're treating that as a rumor at this point, said Officer Scott Williams.
Getting our first look at the Valley teenager police say was killed by his own father. Those close to the family say Giovanni Melton had a huge heart and loved to joke around. 13 Action News reporter Brian Callahan is learning more about what may have led up to that shooting. He joins us live near Seven Hills and Horizon Ridge. Brian.
Yeah, Trish, you can see the small memorial here for Giovanni. Several friends telling us his dad had kicked him out of the house in the past. His dad later got this condo where they tell us the 14-year-old was living largely alone. Neighbors still in shock as they learn more about 14-year-old Giovanni Melton, killed inside his Henderson condo. Police arresting his 53-year-old father, Wendell Melton, for murder.
I can't picture myself doing anything close like that.
Those close to the teen and his brother say Giovanni was a charismatic kid who was always quick with a joke, at the same time saying he was abandoned by his biological parents. Sonia Jones considers herself Giovanni's foster mom, saying she took him and his brother in when Wendell kicked them out in the past. Jones telling 13 Action News Melton didn't like the fact his son was gay, a statement backed up by friends in Southern California who spoke to us over the phone. The foster mom adding that the boys told her Wendell Melton pulled a gun on his younger son before when he found him in the condo with a boyfriend. All those friends and family never believing they would be mourning the loss of the sweet, loving, and gifted teen. And we reached out to Henderson Police asking if they've determined what started that argument yesterday that led to the shooting. They say that is still under investigation. Reporting live, Brian Callahan, 13 Action News.
Thank you, Brian.
As of May 4th, 2022, jurors found a man guilty of murder Wednesday in the 2017 shooting death of his 14-year-old son. On November 2nd, 2017, Wendell Melton took a gun with him to confront his son Giovanni at the Henderson apartment where the boy lived alone. Prosecutors have accused Melton of intentionally shooting the boy, while defense attorneys said Melton brought the gun because he was afraid of his son and the firearm accidentally went off during a struggle. The jury found Melton guilty of first-degree murder with a deadly weapon, child abuse, neglect or endangerment with a deadly weapon resulting in substantial bodily harm, and child abuse, neglect, or endangerment. As the verdict was read Wednesday, Melton stood in court with his arm around defense attorney Jonathan MacArthur. He was seen crying with his head in his hands before District Judge Michelle Levitt revoked his bail and he was led out of the courtroom in handcuffs. We're pleased to see justice done in this case, Chief Deputy District Attorney Jacob Villani said. Defense attorneys have said that Giovanni and his brother were sent to live with Melton, but he did not have room for them in his house with his wife and daughter. Giovanni then bounced between houses, staying with friends, relatives, or his boyfriend. Melton eventually rented an apartment for Giovanni and his older brother, but the brother soon left after a fight between the siblings, defense attorney Monique McNeil said in the trial. Prosecutors have said that after the shooting, Melton lied to the police about the gun. He first said that instead of bringing the firearm with him to the apartment, he put it out from under a couch. But when police went to investigate the furniture, they found that the couch was flat against the wall with no space underneath for a gun. Melton went to confront Giovanni in November after learning that the boy had not gone to school that day. Defense attorney said Melton drew and cocked the gun during a physical fight with his son in order to discourage Giovanni from further attacking him. McNeil declined to comment following the verdict. During a closing arguments on Tuesday, Chief Deputy District Attorney Bernard Palal said Melton's story about the shooting doesn't make sense. He expressed doubt that Melton was afraid of the 135-pound Coronado High School freshman. This is a tragedy, Palal told the jury, but make no mistake, the author of this tragedy is Wendell Melton. Giovanni's mother, Veronica Melton, sat in the courtroom with a handful of supporters, some crying as the verdict was read. She said she is happy to know that Wendell Melton will be sentenced to prison. Wendell played jury, judge, and executioner for my son, and we will now finally have our justice, the mother said, because my son did not deserve to die. Rest in peace, Giovanni Melton. Gone but not forgotten.